So let's all take a comfortable seat. You can sit in a cross-legged position, or I am sitting in Virasana on a block here, like I've shown you guys before, right, with the block lengthwise, with both sit bones on top of it. You can also use a blanket or a pillow to do that. I like sometimes to start with this one because it is kind of a good quad stretch, which if you've been sitting at a computer for some time, that's helpful. I'm going to start with a short reading before we do our warm-ups. And this reading is from a book called Perseverance by Margaret Wheatley. Patience. Perseverance is a journey seemingly without end, yet it has a few destinations for rewards, one of which is patience. It's not that we start out patient. We don't persevere because we are patient people. We become patient because we have to. There is no choice. The work is endless. Every day we have to make a choice. Will we give up or will we keep going? When day after day we are willing to keep going, we discover, quite to our amazement, that we have become patient. And then we just continue on, day after day. So that reminds me a little bit of what we have been doing in this quarantine time, right? But yoga is also like that. It's a daily practice. It's daily work, right? Even if it's a state of mind or your body, it is a little bit of day after day patience, because we don't often see the results until a lot later. Let's go ahead and take our strap. Stretch it out long in front of you. And on an inhale, take the arms overhead. Exhale, take the arms back. Inhale up. Exhale, forward. If you don't have a strap, just use a towel or a scarf or a belt, whatever you have available. Keep timing this with your breath. Let's do 2 more of these. Like I've told you guys this before, but this is my all-time favorite shoulder warm-up. I don't know if you like it too, but sometimes I forget about it and I don't do it for a while. But when I do it, I feel like it really helps the rest of my practice. So we'll set that aside. On an inhale, take the left arm up. Gaze goes down at the floor. Right arms walk out on spider fingers. Keep your left sit bone grounded as you're stretching out that left side of the body, creating length in the torso. On an inhale, come back up to center. The arms release. And inhale, fan the right arm up. Walk the left fingers out on spider fingers. Exhale, and on an inhale, come back up to center and release the arms. Let's do a nice gentle twist. Inhale, take the arms up, twist the torso to the right, take the left hand to the right, to the outside of the right knee, and breathe. Just gentle twist here. It's early. We don't want to over twist. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale. Inhale, pick the arms up and gently twist left. Exhale, and breathe. Inhale, take the arms up and back to center. I'm going to remove my block that I'm sitting on. And let's go to child's pose, Balasana. So hips, knees go as wide as the mat, arms reach long in front of you, and hips push back on top of the heels, forehead to the mat. And breathe. Feel the length in the upper body. Take your fingers on fingertips, or spider fingers as we call them. And feel how that sensation is a little different in the shoulders. Now walk your arms out to the right. Come back to center. Now walk your arms out to the left. Come back to center. Forehead to the mat. We're going to come directly to downward facing dog from this child's pose. This is another transition that I really like. So plant your hands on the mat, press into the fingertips. With your knees still wide, come up onto your knees, tuck the toes. Now turn, as you lift up your knees and push the hips up towards the ceiling, you can plant your feet into a normal downward facing dog position with the feet about hip distance apart. With the heels aiming for the ground. Pulling in the belly. Tops of the thighs rolling inward. Outsides of the shins rolling outward. And breathe. Keep pushing through those fingertips. Pressing into that mound behind the index finger. You can prance your dog. You can pedal out your feet. Look forward. Walk your hands up to meet your feet up to meet your hands. Look up. And on an exhale, fold forward. You can bend your knees here if you need to. We don't want to feel any strain on the low back. You can pedal out your legs here too. So straighten one knee, bend the other. And switch back and forth. Now take your hands to the hip creases and gently move the flesh outward towards the outside of the hips to help cultivate a deeper fold. And take the palms of your hands and place them underneath your feet. So your toes will be kind of pressing towards the wrists. Again, it's a little early in the practice. Like I certainly feel a little tight right now. So you might want to bend your knees to make sure you're taking the pressure out of the low back. And create that counter pressure so the soles of your feet are pushing against the palms of your hands and vice versa. Now release those, take the hands to the waist, push into your feet, and come back up to standing. Okay. So on an inhale, take the arms forward and up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up. Plant the hands. Step your feet back to a plank. Hug the knees, the elbows in, touch your knees, and lower to the mat. Legs out long behind you, hands underneath your shoulders, squeezing the elbows in towards the body. Lift up into a cobra pose, Bhujangasana. The back of your neck is long. Legs are pushing into the mat. And breathe. Now on an inhale, push yourself up to tabletop. Exhale, hips up and back to downward facing dog. And breathe for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look forward, walk your feet up towards your hands. Inhale, look up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, take the arms forward and up. Exhale, Samasthiti. One more round. Inhale, arms forward and up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to a plank. Touch the knees down, hug the elbows in, and lower to the mat. Forehead to the mat, hands under the shoulders, legs out long behind you, and on an inhale, lengthen the body and lift your shoulders off the mat for Bhujangasana. And breathe. On an inhale, push yourself up to all fours. Exhale, hips up and back into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And breathe. Press into the fingertips, into that mound behind the index finger. Engage your legs. On an inhale, walk your hands forward. Walk your feet forward to your hands and look up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, take the arms forward and up. Exhale, hands by your side. Samastitihi. Now the next two, we're going to take it a step deeper if you choose, okay? So instead of walking our feet and our hands, we're going to jump them, okay? And instead of doing a cobra, we'll do an upward facing dog, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. On an inhale, take the arms forward and up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up. Exhale, plant the hands, jump your feet back to a plank, and lower to the ground. Inhale, push into upward facing dog. So arms are straight, legs are together, hips are off the mat. Exhale, roll over your toes to downward facing dog. And breathe. Keep aiming for that long spine in this position. The goal is not necessarily to have the heels on the mat, but it's more about the length of the spine. Inhale, walk, step, or jump your feet up towards your hands. Look up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, pushing into your feet, take the arms forward and up. Exhale, Samastitihi. Last round. Inhale, take the arms forward and up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up. Exhale, plant the hands. You may have to bend the knees to do that. And hop back to a plank. And lower yourself down. Inhale, push into the mat with your strong arms. Lift up the hips. Gaze goes forward and up if it's okay on the neck. Keep the shoulder blades rolled down the back. And exhale over your feet into a downward facing dog. And breathe. Inhale, look up and walk, step, or hop your feet towards your hands. Exhale, fold. Inhale, take the arms forward and up as you push into your feet. Exhale, hands back by your side, Samastitihi. Okay, so let's go on to some balancing poses. Because I've had some requests for a few more balancing poses, which I love. So we'll start with tree position. Take your hands on your hips. Standing on your left leg, lift up your right hip and let that leg kind of telescope up into the hip socket. Sometimes that just helps you be a little more aware of what you're doing. So we're going to shift to the right and do the same thing with the left. So telescope that leg up into the hip socket. Good. So now we should feel a little more firmly planted. Lift up your toes. And place them down one at a time. You can see the space between your toes. Lift up your heels and lengthen the foot out long. Take the right foot out. And with the hands on the hips, lift that right foot into your tree position. Foot can go towards the thigh, the calf, whatever you do, we do not want it on the knee. So creating some counter pressure here of the foot pressing against the thigh muscles activating. You can take the hands into prayer, or you can take the hands overhead. And today that pulled my leg out. So I'm gonna try that one more time. That might happen to you, totally fine. Every day, our balance is a little bit different. And sometimes we have on slippery pants. I definitely noticed a difference in my tree position depending on what pants I'm wearing. And breathe. Take the arms out. You can release the hand. Release the foot by taking your foot in your hand. Goodness, tongue-tied this morning. So let's do the other foot. So hands on the hips, take the left foot out. And on an inhale, bring that foot up. Again, creating the counter pressure. So the standing leg is pushing into the foot, growing tall in the torso as you're rooting down through the standing leg. Every time we try to lift in the body, the lower half has to press, right? That's how we get tall, like a shower curtain pulling apart. And breathe. And release. Good, shake those legs out. Good. So the next one we're doing is Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana, or standing hand to foot pose. Take your left hand on your left hip, lift the right knee, and you can stop here with the hand on the outside of the shin. You can also grab behind the thigh, or if you choose, you can take hold of the big toe with your thumb and stretch the leg out long in front of you. And breathe. Keep growing through the crown of the head as you're pushing down into the standing leg. Tighten the quads, there's 4 of them, right? Now on an inhale, take the leg out to the side. And if you have your balance, look over your left shoulder. Keep pushing down to that left hip with your left hand. On an inhale, take your gaze back forward. The leg comes back forward and release, but hold the leg up. And here we count for 5, 4, keep growing tall, 2, 1, and gently lower the leg back down. Then we'll switch sides. So right hand on the right hip. Take the leg up. Again, you can take hold of the shin, behind the thigh, or the toes. Some people find they prefer one on one side and one on the other. Totally fine. Definitely notice how the 2 sides of our body are different here. And breathe. And on an inhale, take that leg out to the side. Grow tall. Take your gaze over your right shoulder if you feel balanced. If you don't, you can always do this next to a wall. So instead of having your hand on the hip, you can have it on the wall or a chair. Inhale, take the leg back to forward. Release the hold. Grow tall. Point that toe to help the leg stay activated. And we've got 3, 2, 1, and release that leg back to the mat. I'm going to shake that out. So we have one more balancing pose this morning, and that is called dancer's pose. So we'll start with pirate pose as a good warm-up. So hand to the left hip, bend the right knee, take hold of the foot any way you can, and point that knee straight down to where your foot was. Give yourself a little stretch of the quadriceps here. Keep rooting into the ground. So you guys notice how when I push into the ground with my body, the torso can get taller. See how I lift up? That's what we're going for. Trying to create space in the torso. And to do that, you have to push into the standing leg. Now release that. We'll change feet. So hand on the right hip. Take hold of the left foot. And point that knee down to where you were standing. Push into your foot. Grow through the crown of the head. And release. Now for dancer's pose, we have the same grabbing of the foot, right? You're going to turn the hand externally, bend the right leg, and take hold of the foot on the inside, okay? I do it this way because I think that's what we're more used to in skating. So your thumb is on the sole of the foot here. Woo, woo, losing my balance this morning. Now take the left arm up, and on an inhale, seesaw forward. So you're kicking into your back hand, standing leg is activated and strong, left leg is long out in front of you. Try to keep the right hip point pointing towards the ground if you can. And that's a little different than what we do in skating. Sometimes we open that up, but there I want you to keep your hips parallel. And on an inhale, come back up, release the foot, and we'll switch sides. You guys don't have to turn around. I'm turning around so you can better see what I'm doing on the camera. So externally rotate that hand, bend the knee, take hold of the foot, and on an inhale, take the right arm up. Exhale, seesaw forward. And breathe, kick into the back hand. That kicking will create some counter pressure to allow you to stay balanced. And on an inhale, come back up. Grow tall and release the foot back to standing. So take your legs wide, about the same distance apart as your arms if you were to extend them. So turn the right toes out, left toes in. Arms are pushing long away from each other. And on an inhale, grow tall. Exhale, reach out long in front of you and tilt your body so your hands make one line between the top hand and the bottom hand. If that's too hard on your shoulder, you can always keep your hand on your hip. You want to have your belly and your belly button and your rib cage shining towards the wall in front of you, not at the floor. Gaze can go up at that top hand if that feels okay on your neck. Keep your legs engaged. On an inhale, look down at your foot and push yourself up, pulling out of that top hand. Pivot around to the other side, so right toes in, left toes pointing towards the short edge of your mat. Torso parallel to the long edge. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, reach out over that front foot and tilt your body over. Again, so belly button is shining towards the wall in front of you. Legs are activated. And just, you might need to make some adjustments here. That's part of what yoga is just playing around with what happens when you do different things with your muscles. And you don't want to feel any pain. No pain, no pain. On an inhale, look down at your foot. Exhale, and on the next inhale, pulling up with that top, the energy of the top hand, come back up to standing. Good. Now, we'll do revolved. So turn your legs back to the right. So turn the right toes out, left toes in. And now let the torso square off towards the short edge of the mat. Right hand on the right hip. Left arm reaches up tall towards the ceiling. Now reach long out in front of you and take that left hand towards the mat. If you don't have a block, you can just put your hand to the inside of the left foot. If you want to go a little deeper, you can take the hand to the outside of the right foot. I'm going to grab my block and plant my left hand on top of the block. Now scissor the right hip back. And we're trying to cultivate this twist here. So ideally, someday in this lifetime or the next, your shoulders will be stacked. And breathe. On an inhale, look down. Exhale. And inhale, come back up, unwind, and turn back to parallel. Now we'll do the other side. So keep in mind that in these harder postures, particularly in the revolved postures, it is hard to breathe, right? Because we're twisting everything and compressing that space. So it's hard to breathe. That's part of what we are cultivating through the practice of yoga, is learning how to breathe deeply and evenly, even when we're in sticky situations, right? Very good lesson for life. Okay, so left toes out, right toes in, torso squared off towards the short edge of the mat, right arm goes up tall, inhale, grow tall through the spine, exhale, reach out forward over that left foot, scissor the left hip back, and take the right hand to the floor, either to the inside of the left foot or to the outside of the left foot. Try to keep that left hip pulling back, right hip pulling forward. Left arm can come to the shoulder, reaching the elbow up towards the ceiling, or you can fully extend the left arm. Still trying to get the shoulder stacked. That may not happen in this lifetime, or it might happen today. Exhale, look down at your foot. Take the left hand to the hip, and on an inhale, come back up to standing. And take Tadasana. And just breathe. Notice how your body feels. Does one side feel different than the other? Are you feeling the blood pumping? Are you warmer? Now take your legs wide again. And we're going to crisscross our arms. Take the elbows up towards the ceiling. Like you're taking off a sweater, and push the arms away from each other. Now let the palms go flat like you're cupping balloons or marshmallows in your hands. Turn the right toes out, left toes in. Lean back on that left leg. That's going to be your anchor here for Parshva Konasana, extended lateral angle. So as we're leaning back, bend the front knee and sit down in the hip. Keep the outer edge of that left foot grounded. And now reach out long over that right knee. And you can take the elbow to the knee. Or if you have a block, you can put your hand on the block to the outside of your foot. Now the left arm is going to circle down towards the mat and up overhead. Gaze can go at the elbow or at the thumb. If that's hard on your neck, you can keep your gaze at your front knee. So we're trying to use our legs to support us here. If you have your hand on a block or on your knee, you don't want to have all of your weight dumping into your hand. So keep your legs active and breathe. Now on an inhale, push into your feet and come back up to Warrior Two, Virabhadrasana 2. Breathe. And on an inhale, push into the ball of your foot, straighten out the front leg, and we will switch sides. So pivot the toes around, right toes in, left toes out. Turn the torso so it's facing the long edge of the mat. Lean back into that right leg, anchor it with strong glutes, pressing the outer edge of the foot into the mat, and bend that front knee. Again, ultimately, in a perfect world, this front thigh would be parallel to the mat. Some days we don't feel like doing that though, because that's harder. And some days our legs won't let us. And that's okay. So if you want to be up here, that's okay too. But ultimately, we're striving to get to here. Now on an inhale, go tall. Exhale, reach out long over that front knee. And take the elbow either to the knee, to the mat, or on top of a block. This is what it looks like if you stay on the knee. Now circle the right arm down towards the mat and up overhead. So we have one long line of energy going from the outer edge of the right foot to the outer edge of the pinky finger. And breathe. Now on an inhale, come back up with your body, but stay bent for Virabhadrasana 2. And on an inhale, push into the ball of the foot, straighten out your front leg, and parallel your feet. Release the arms to your sides, and breathe. The bent leg standing poses really get your heart rate going. Now, let's walk our feet in, heel toe your feet in, 2 steps. Okay, pivot the body around to the right again. Right toes are facing the short edge of the mat and the left toes are in slightly. Take the arms out wide. Turn them down for bat wings. Fold them behind you. And if you can take reverse prayer, do that. If that's too much for your shoulders or your wrists today, then you can grab opposite elbows. On an inhale, grow tall. And exhale, fold out over that front leg. Scissoring the right hip back, pushing the left hip forward, keeping the legs active. Only go as far as you can go while maintaining a long spine. You want the shoulder blades to stay rolling down the back, the spine long, energy extending out through the crown of the head. We haven't done this one for a while, those of you that are in this class. So it might be a little more challenging. I haven't done it for a couple of weeks. Okay, a few weeks. On an inhale, push into the ball of that front foot, grow tall. Come back up, and let's pivot around to the other side. Anchoring yourself into that back leg, into the right leg, strong glutes, grow tall in the torso, and fold out at the hip crease over the front leg, gaze going towards the big toe. Keep that left hip scissoring back, right hip scissoring forward. Engage the legs, especially the quadriceps. We don't want to overstretch the hamstrings here, so engage those quadriceps and breathe. Now on an inhale, push into that front foot. Come back up and parallel your feet. Release the arms. Might need to do a few circles here of the wrists. Close and open, close and open. Now come to the top of your mat. On an inhale, fan the arms up, look up. Exhale, forward, forward. Inhale, look up. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to a plank, and lower yourself to the mat. Inhale, push up either to Bhujangasana or Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, roll over your feet to downward facing dog. Now walk your hands to your feet. Sit your hips down low. Scoop water up with your hands for Utkatasana, fierce pose. And breathe. On an exhale, fold forward. Come to your tiptoes and come to sitting on your knees. Crisscross your feet and sit your bottom down. On a blanket here, if you have a blanket, you can use that. Okay. Sit on the very edge of the blanket. Good. Now stretch your legs out long in front of you. Roll the shoulders back. Let's place the hands on the mat behind you on fingertips. So the chest is lifted. Energy is pushing out through the balls, the big toe mounds, the balls of the feet. Activate the legs, press the heels into the mat, and breathe. Now on an inhale, take the arms up, grow tall. Exhale, fold forward at the hip creases. Again, you can take hold of your feet here. If you're not reaching that, that's okay. You can put your hands on your shins. I like to take my hands here and fold a little deeper at the hip crease. Hands can go around the feet. You can grab the big toes. Gaze towards the big toes and breathe. Keep your legs active. Now on an inhale, walk those hands back up. Take the hand behind the right knee, bend it, pull it up towards your hip, and let that right knee fall out to the side. Turn the torso so that it's facing the left knee, and let's reach out long over that left knee for Janu Shirshasana. Sometimes I like to take the right hand to the outside of that left foot. It helps get the torso facing the right direction. Keep both legs active here. And breathe. Inhale, walk your hands back up. Take your hand below the right knee. Bring it back up. Extend. Hands behind the left knee. Bring the foot in. And let that knee fall out to the side as the inner sole of the left foot is up against the right inner thigh. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, reach forward. Folding out over that right knee, keeping the legs active. Keep breathing. On an inhale, walk your hands back up. Take the hand behind the left knee, extend it out long. You can shake your legs out if you need to. Now hands behind the right knee, we're going to bring this foot back in towards the hip, towards the sit bone. Now take the right hand, move your flesh out of the way, and make a big circle so the right hand goes behind you on the mat. And left hand is either going to grab that elbow, or you can grab the knee, or you can take the left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Gaze goes over the right shoulder if that feels okay on your neck. Keep the legs active, spine long. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, take the right hand to the right knee and unwind. Extend the leg and let's switch legs. So left foot comes in. Move the flesh out of the way. Right arm comes around the knee. Left arm circles around back and grow tall. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, unwind, and release the leg out long beside the other one. Shake out your legs. Now take the hands behind the knees and roll yourself down onto your back. Lift the legs up. If you'd like to do a happy baby here, you take the knees wide, hands come inside the knees with the elbows on the inside, and you grab to the outside of the foot with the hands. And we're just gently rocking, taking one knee to the floor and the other one. Sometimes you can extend one leg and then extend the other. Extend both legs. Good. Take this moment to do any final movements that feel good to you. Anything you'd like to do, any last movements before we head into Shavasana? Now I will set you up for Shavasana and then I will leave you. Okay, so you can stay in Shavasana as long as you wish. I encourage you to stay there long enough to allow the body to absorb what we just did. Remember, yoga itself is the wisdom and yoga itself is the magic. So we need to let it work. So lying on your backs, legs extended long, let the feet fall open. Let the arms rest at your sides, palms facing the ceiling. We don't want anything touching those fingers. If you have a scarf or an eye pillow or a shirt, I encourage you to put one of those on top of your eyes. It helps calm the mind a little more quickly. Now give your body one great big squeeze and release. Take a big inhale and an audible exhale. One more, inhale and exhale. Swallow and let the tongue rest gently in the lower part of your mouth. Let every last bit of tension melt away to the earth. And enjoy the next few minutes of quiet relaxation. Namaste.